Oh, Lynn's here.
Is your mic on?
Michael's is on. Michael's here.
Next meeting. Uh-oh. Trying to not have the back sound. Can't hear what? Everybody here can hear. No, now it's coming over just the Zoom. Can she hear? Well, can the people in the audience hear? Okay, sorry. So we're going to entertain a motion to continue 16 Madison Avenue. We'll take it in on November, even though we're overbooked, we'll take it for November 9th. Can I get a motion on that?
I'll make a motion to move the petition of Leslie Peavy on 16 Madison Ave to November 9th.
Motion made and seconded to continue to November 9th. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Well, that's so continued. Okay, our first order of business is the continued application, the petition of Melissa Sala, seeking a special permit to alter, expand an existing non-conforming structure, requesting a change in use to multi-use and building height up to 35 feet at 18B Rogers Street. Now, this was a continued hearing and the public testimony has been closed. So I'll invite up Attorney Favazza for a report.
Good evening. For the record, Joel Favazza, Seaside Legal Solutions, 123 Main Street. On behalf of the petitioner, the update is between last meeting and this, we met with Dean Snell. He was the director abutter who spoke last week. We came to a resolution as to the shared property line and the construction of the buildings up next to each other. And he has provided an email that I've received this evening and sent over to the clerk and to the chair just before the meeting started. But it says, Melissa, please have Joel read this into the zoning board this evening as I am unable to attend. Thank you to agreeing to the following. We're going to remove 3 third-floor windows from his wall, returning them to him, and then closing up those openings and making them watertight. We are pledged to him that the construction will be done in such a way as to keep any rainwater away from that side of the building, and ensuring that his foundation will not be undermined or adversely affected. And we have agreed to send him a full set of the building permit plans and let him know when a building permit is being pulled, so that if between now and then the applicant was to change away from these agreements, he would have the full appeal period to come and appeal that building permit, saying this is not what was discussed at the zoning board. We don't see that happening, but nevertheless, that's the protection we put in for the applicant's neighbor, rather. So with that, based on my presentation last time, I believe we've met the standards for the relief requested. It was a long list. Hopefully you have it. If not, I can pull it up. But I think we should be hopefully good to go.
Thank you.
So you're gonna extend the statutory appeal period so that it runs 20 days from the,
No, just like there's an appeal on every building permit.
oh.
Also,
Yeah, okay,
and
the
so-
building permit.
Right. So he'll know day one and we'll give him a full set of the building permit plans. The problem is his main concern was about tying the buildings together and how that works. And we said, honestly, that level of detail isn't going to be produced until we know whether or not we have zoning clearance or not. And I said, but we can give you that level of detail when those plans are ready, which would be when we go to apply for the building permit itself. And then if you see something that is objectionable and not what we discussed as far as keeping your foundation preserved and keeping rainwater out, you have the building permit appeal period to come back, to force us back in front of you to say, hey, that is not what they talked about back in October.
So at the same time that you submit your plans for building permit, you will provide him a set of plans so he'll know that.
That we followed through with what we agreed tonight.
I think I would, if we get to that point, condition that he be notified on the date that the application for the building permit is submitted. That's no. Okay, discussion by the board. We've taken the public testimony up to now. We've heard the standards to be applied. Any more discussion? Or we,
For me, it was just making sure that Dean, I mean, he doesn't get a vote, he knows that, everybody knows that, but it sounds like they reached a resolution, so I'm good. My
Sounds
my
like a
concerns
good-
are satisfied.
good compromise, yeah.
Yep.
So we'll entertain, go ahead, Peter, do you have
No,
something?
no, I was just agreeing.
Entertain a motion on the application?
I will, I can find my, thank you. On the petition of Melissa Sala, speaking special permit to alter, expand an existing non-conforming structure, a special permit for a change in use to a multifamily use, or a multi-building, multifamily use, and a special permit for a height exception up to 35 feet, together with variances.
Yeah, so a use special permit for the restaurant with takeout and or outdoor seating.
So it's a special permit for change in use for a restaurant down below and multifamily up above. Special permit for a lesser number of off-street parking because there should be 2 parking spots there. There will be no parking spots there. Special permit for height exception. And
Dimensional variances.
the variance is for dimensional relief because the whole building is subject to new variances. I would move approval of all the relief requested. I think it's actually a very good project. You're gonna take what's been a dilapidated, unused building that had been, a restaurant bar, restore the bar and restaurant and add 2 units up above. I think that there's ample parking in the area for the proposed use of the building. I think that the change in use is not detrimental to the neighborhood. I think it's actually good. We're putting some residences downtown, which help promote, restaurant use and more retail use. And I think the height is in keeping with everything around it. I mean, it still won't, there's buildings right behind it that are as tall as this building. I think that the shape and nature of the lot and the placement of the building justifies the granting of the variances. I mean, right now, the building is on all its setbacks and whatnot. You're just restoring that footprint pretty much. It's not too much more. It's pretty much the same footprint that as exists with some height on top. I think it's a good project. I wish her luck with it, and I move approval of the relief requested with the condition that the applicant notify the abutter, the direct abutter, of the filing of the building permit at the time that it is filed.
Motion made
Second,
and seconded. We'll have a roll call vote.
Ms. Schlichty,
Yes, for all the relief requested.
Mr. Nyman,
yes, for all the relief requested and the condition.
Mr. Canavo,
Yes.
Mr. Gyllenhaal,
yes,
and Mr. Parisi.
I also vote yes. You've heard our decision's favorable. You can put together a draft for us, be great. Good
Certainly.
luck.
Thank you.
And thank you for working with the neighbor.
Okay, our first new application of the night is the petition of Ina Kadzikowski seeking to modify an existing special permit under 1.7.4 regarding variance relief from setback requirements at 12 Woodward Avenue. I believe Attorney Fine is representing. Has she been pulled in? Her hands up. We need to bring her in as a panel. There she
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me?
Zoom can hear you, but we're having trouble hearing in the hall. You getting any sound? Bear with us. You speak, Meredith, again?
Good evening, everybody.
There we go. Great.
We're good.
Great, thank you. It's nice to see you all home again. My name is Meredith Fine. I'm an attorney at 108 East Main Street in Gloucester. I represent Ina Kadzikowski, who we're seeking to modify previous permit. And I'm going to share my screen. Can the board see my presentation?
We can.
Okay, thank you. So this is at 12 Woodward Avenue. And I know that some of the board members were involved in the decision from last year, but I'm just gonna sort of start from scratch here. So this property is right on the Little River. It's currently vacant. This is what the original house looked like. And it was, shall we say, used for fire department training. That was a few years ago. And as I said, now it is currently vacant. This is the orientation of that little house on this property, which is made up of 2 lots. And as you can see over here on the back right, a part of the original house actually encroached on the neighboring property. And you can see that the whole right side of the house was on or over the right side property line. In 2022, the previous owner came in and requested to rebuild the house, to bring it back onto the whole property, and to put a garage in the front yard, which the board approved. The current proposal moves the house to the left so that it's no longer encroaching onto the property line of the right. And the garage is part of the whole building and is no longer proposed for the front yard. And the whole building is being moved closer to Woodward Avenue, in part so that there's it's not as close to the resource area that is governed by the Conservation Commission. This is the interior of the proposed house. It'd be a 2-car garage. There's a lot of patio and deck in the back to enjoy the view of the river. This is the 2nd floor of the house. And here are the elevations. And what Treehouse Design did here, and I believe they're on the call as well, is that they made the building more horizontal, and it more fits into the actual topography of the site. And so this is obviously the front of the house, And then here's the left side, and you can see that it's tucked into the slope. Then here's the right side, and then here's the rear, which takes full advantage of the beautiful view. These are 3D renderings of what the house would look like. And you can see that the design is intended to, that the colors and the textures of it are designed to fit into this wooded area. This is what the previous proposal looked like. And you can see that it's more vertical than what is being proposed here. So the standard that we have to meet to modify the previous variances are that we have to protect the interests of the neighborhood. I'm sorry, that the interests and of the neighborhood and the city are not impaired, and we have to show good cause. So the interests of the neighborhood are improved. I mean, right now it's just a vacant lot, and it's got some I don't want to say trash, but some stuff on it. So this beautiful new home will increase the property values of the whole neighborhood. The building will fit into the topography of the lot and is more conforming than either what was there before or what was proposed last year. The garage in the front yard is being removed, and the house is closer to the road. So, as I said, preserving some of the conservation area. In terms of meeting the interests of the city, this building will make the vacant property more productive and will add to the tax base. And for good cause shown, I think this is a better design, more horizontal design, and more integrated into the site itself. And so what we're asking for is to modify the 2022 decision to increase the front setback relief from 5 feet to 11 feet. And, you know, in closing, I want to say that Ms. Radzichowski came here from the Soviet Union when she was 16. This is her dream house on her dream lot in her dream city. And I hope that the board will approve the project, will approve the modification. So I'm happy to take your questions.
Any questions by the board at this point?
No, just confirmation. So the house as proposed on the lot, and can you put up the site plan again, Meredith?
Now, let's see. Bear with me. Here it is.
Yeah.
Let me just zoom in on it, Catherine.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, so the house is proposed on the lot. It really, it meets all zoning requirements except the frontage.
Not the frontage, but the front setback.
I mean, the frontage is correct. Everything except the front yard setback. It meets the side yard setbacks, the rear setbacks, lot coverage, et
It does,
cetera, et
if
cetera.
you use the superseding setbacks, which
Yes.
I think apply on this property.
Yep.
Then yes.
Okay. Thank you. I just wanted that clarification. So it's into the front yard setback by about 10 feet.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, so at this time, we'll open up to public testimony. I'll remind everyone again, when you come on, we need your name and address for the record before you start telling us your story. And people online, if you want to speak, you raise your hand. People in the audience, feel free to come up to the podium. You don't have to wait. You can just come up as you need be. First, we're going to take people wishing to speak in favor of the application. People wishing to speak in favor of the application, please raise your hand. Or come up. Seeing no one, anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the plan, please come up or raise your hand online.
Hi, good evening. My name is Mark St. Pierre. I'm a direct abutter at 8 Woodward Ave.
Before you get going, so
Yeah.
with this new system, you really have to be right at the mic. or
Oh, right there.
transmit to the public.
Got it. Okay, so Mark St. Pierre, I'm at 8 Woodward Ave. So this house, this lot has been kind of interesting for a while. And the Linda Kovich, who was the previous owner, had owned it for a good while, and this same attorney represented her, as did the attorney. Now, this came up for zoning, how long ago? I thought it was like 9 months,
Yeah.
you know? So, you know, within reason, I know that when somebody buys a lot, they want to do something with it. That's perfectly understandable. And we saw where the original footprint was, which she showed. So when they did this redo with Linda Kovich, it was, you know, understandable, pretty much amenable. It's like, okay, I was at that meeting and I looked at it and I said, okay, she wants to put a single car garage in, and the house, maybe not my taste, but it's close to the original footprint, which is really wonderful. So the current proposal, which I've received nothing, no information on this at all until tonight, seeing what's going on.
Did you get notice of this hearing?
I got the notice of the meeting, yes. Yes, I got that. So regarding the reasons, you know, I received no official plan from the new owner. Linda Kovich was going to supposedly build this little dream house as well. We heard a similar story. And that property, as soon as the variance was granted, was on the market, lickety split. There was already rumored that she was going to sell it. So that was kind of on the table anyway. So here we are again, and looking at the same little presentation of somebody's dream home in this lovely little story. But meanwhile, it's like, well, what size is this house? You know, what I was originally told by Ina was that it was going to be a 2-story home, not, you know, with a basement and then another story, not a 3-story home. It was supposed to have a flat roof. And I understand she wants to build a house. My concerns are the property line seems altered, pushed towards me. The structure is greatly pushed towards me, and now it's a 2-car garage opposed to a single unattached garage. I've had my property surveyed on 2 occasions, in 2011 and 2016 by Kirk and Carolyn Benson. So I'm kind of curious about their property lines. And my other points are conservation. Like the plan that they have, if you look at that, if she could show that again, they have this like sweeping curve in the frontage. This thing's going to be like right on the street. So I think you addressed that. But the whole property being lifted completely off the original footprint and pushed much closer to my own property. And I did design my house knowing that there would eventually be a property there. So I tried to be considerate of the views, knowing that most of us have to build on original footprint. But where is that going now? And where's conservation? These are my questions. Recently, there's been a house down the street that about 21 truckloads of new earth have been brought in after excavation. So, you know, I want her to have a good project. I was actually kind of excited about the original proposal, but when I saw this in 3D, I thought first it was a duplex. It's so enormous. And I want to point out that just because the property is horizontal, that doesn't make it better. If anything, it walls off the entire view to the river, as has happened down the street. So what we're creating is, you know, we're creating the street that you walk down and you can't even see between the homes anymore and kind of enjoy the quality of the street. And we're going to these big lot-to-lot lines where there's no space. And one of the charms of our neighborhood is, you know, I left Boston. I was just living there, kind of in an apartment. And one of the reasons I came up here, I grew up in Salem. And one of the things I always loved Gloucester. So when this opportunity comes for me to have space is a huge value, huge. And, you know, your privacy doesn't come from walling everything off necessarily, but by having a nice flow of space, which this model clearly doesn't, I don't think, present. So these are my concerns. I am very concerned about conservation and how much digging they're going to have to do there, because there's some beautiful boulders. There's some big, huge rocks. Like, what's going to happen to this? Are they going to excavate? Are they going to blast? I'm concerned about how this is going to work. Again, I don't want to stop her from having a good project. I just don't think a two-car attached garage going from what, the firehouse, Linda Kovich elected to have that house knocked down for free. And that's how the fire department did it. That's how she got rid of that house. So that's not like trashing, the house was no good. The poor people that had lived there very long and had to go. It's a very sad situation. So I'm concerned about the size of the footprint being completely moved off. Horizontal doesn't mean better. And what's going to happen with conservation? I'm also curious about the property assessment that they have, which I'm willing to certainly contact Carolyn Kirk Benson to, they seem they push the property much closer to my own. So those are my concerns. And I really appreciate you listening, because I really love our neighborhood. And I would like to see, Ina had said she wanted to leave Ipswich to get away from the 2-2. I don't think this house is much different from that. I was hoping for something more unique, not so this. So thank you.
Thank you. Online, we have Paul Goldberg. You can bring him in so we can hear.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Paul Goldberg, 3 Woodward Avenue, across the street. I agree very strongly with all the points that Mr. St. Pierre just made in his presentation. If we want to talk about dream houses and our dream cities, that's why I'm here, and I've been here for 20 years in this location. And my dream is to have a nice, quiet, beautiful street, which is what we had when I moved here, that isn't filled with homes that are much too big for the plot size, with less traffic, which we're now inundated with traffic already. So two more cars and all the construction. It's been quite a year and a half here on this street, which is a private street that we have to maintain. But all the construction vehicles, pardon me, can come up and down and basically destroy the street without any recourse, which is not the primary issue. The primary issue is that if you go to that lot and you look at what is proposed to be put there, it's out of keeping with the neighborhood, the interest in the neighborhood, the feel of the neighborhood, and with the size of the lot itself. It's gargantuan. It's twice what was agreed to, twice the size of what was agreed to in the last meeting that Mark talked about. And that is that's my strong and opinion about what's happening here. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition, either in the hall, come right up.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Lorraine Tomlinson Hall. I live at 82 Woodward Avenue, which we bought in 2008, my husband and I. As you can tell from my accent, I also moved from a foreign country to my dream house. And what we have continued to do is honor the location. I personally struggle with the sap on the trees, but it is very much part of the wooded area. And so what was spoken about was that I called it a monstrosity of a house, fitted in line with the wooded area. I fail to see where the wooded area would remain with this build. And I've sat here tonight, and I moved to this country, and I moved to the area, and I feel very privileged to be a part of it because it has a history and a heritage, and a lot of people living on that street who love it and love how it looks and all of the points that were made previous. And I wasn't going to speak tonight, but I have sat there with my neighbors and I've looked at the very sign behind you, and it says, build not for today alone, but for tomorrow as well. And I think that speaks for everything that we're objecting to this evening. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition?
Ay, ay, ay.
Hi, Debbie Liakos, 41 Woodward Avenue. Just to give you a little back history, my family built our house on Woodward Avenue in the fall of '65. So we've been there 58 years and have seen the changes along the way. One house across the street's being built right now. You know, when architects submit their plans, they all look so pretty and everything until the building goes in, and then you come to realize how intrusive that building is. I would suggest you go by and look at 52 Woodward Avenue, just for instance, that's being built now, the 21 loads of dirt that were brought in after a huge excavation. And so my concern along the riverfront is we do have a Rivers Protection Act. And I do not believe that we, as a city, are abiding by it and really, you know, respecting it sometimes. I think most of us that are here tonight that are speaking in opposition were fine with the previous plans because it was a two-story building that didn't sprawl across the property. And it left those windows of airflow and views and the nature of the neighborhood. It was primarily a summer community in the early, actually 1800s. And we've seen the changes and we expect those changes. But you know, someone comes in and wants to sprawl across a piece of property, bring it closer to the street. It's already very condensed there. So I just want you to think about conservation should be part of this process as well, because there's some huge pine trees there. The eagles are nesting in that area. I want to know what the impact is going to be on the land by allowing this type of construction, because there are some healthy trees and some not so healthy trees. And then when we let those trees to come down for construction, what does that do to the runoff? A few houses across from me were built in the early 70s. We see what happened there. The drainage wasn't correct, and we end up with a lot of Phragmites, which has affected the salt marsh. We have an actively fished clam bed there. The clams are there 6 months of the year. And I'd like to see the old plan be put through. You know, you come in and you think you're going to change the whole neighborhood. And I don't think it's fair to the other neighbors to think that we're going to sprawl across the riverfront and create these walls of homes on these small lots. I have a 14,000 square foot lot. It's a double lot, like a lot of these were combined. My house is 26 by 38. And when we converted it to a two-family to put my handicapped brother and parents into that unit, it was an upstairs unit because the city would not allow us to go beyond the footprint. And I have a 14,000 square foot lot. So I want to know where we as a city are not holding to those old thought processes of trying to keep things within the existing footprint and preserving the lot and the nature around it instead of sprawling across the land. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? See no one online. No one else. So opportunity for rebuttal, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I suspect the board knows, many of the concerns raised by these neighbors are going to be addressed when it goes to the Conservation Commission. So in terms of the trees and the effect on the environment, none of that is within this board's jurisdiction. The building height is 29.6, I think, but it's under the 30 feet maximum that's allowed. In terms of digging and excavation, there is a lot of ledge there, which was the basis of the variances. And they're not gonna know until they remove the soil and look and see what's actually underneath there. Exactly what they're gonna have to do to remove the ledge. Some of the concerns that are being raised are questions of personal taste. Which, again, this board has absolutely no jurisdiction over. I do want to say that Ms. Radzahovsky did go to the neighbors and speak with them. She did give 2 copies of the plans to Mr. St. Pierre and his partner. So it's a surprise, and they didn't raise any objections to her. So it's a bit of a surprise to hear them now. And then I just want to show the board. Can you see the site plan, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
So this here on the left is 8 Woodward, Mr. St. Pierre's home. And you can see that one of the reasons why this building might feel too close to him is that his house is in the set, almost right on the property line. And he received a variance for that. And so on this side of Ms. Radzahovsky's property, it meets the setback requirements. The house itself is only about 200 square feet larger than what the board has already approved. And the bottom line here is that the standard to modify the variance is relatively low compared to the standard for variances and special permits themselves. So, you know, I'm respectful of the neighbors' feelings. Again, it sounds like there was a problem with a different property up the street, which is causing some concern. But what we're requesting meets all the standards. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion, questions by the board?
Just some comments, just to concur. I mean, I took notes while, let me back up. I hear you, I guess is what I would say. No, it's not allowed, yeah. So I'm empathetic to your concerns. Ma'am, you've been there almost 60 years. Some of you have been there not that long, but have been there a while. You have a certain feel for why you moved there and what you're expecting in that neighborhood and so on. So empathetic to all of that. But size of the house has nothing to do with us, other than that it currently meets its setbacks except for the front. It meets the height. It's below 30 feet. So that's what we look at. And that's not before us. Conservation, Rivers Protection Act's not before us. That's conservation. House design is not before us. Right? We're not the house police, even though we like some of the design. I do. I'm a builder. I like some and I don't like others. I like colors. I don't like other colors. It's not before us. Airflow, view, it's not before us. It's not above 30 feet. Nobody's asking for a height exception. That's when we're supposed to be looking at views. So views are not protected. Pine trees, et cetera. Again, eagles. Who doesn't care about that? Of course, that's not before us. That's before the conservation. Runoff engineering drainage, that's the building inspector issue. Anything over 500 square feet like this, that's all going to be addressed. So your issues are going to be with them. If something's not working or if it's not designed correctly, that's not before us. None of those things are before us, even though they're important things and you guys all care about them, just so you understand.
I was just gonna say, you know, the prior house, and you can see on the site plan where the prior house was. It was a little, well, first off, it was over the right side. It was on somebody else's property. It was over the right side setback. And the permit that was approved before was only 3 feet off that right side setback. And this house is gonna be 15 feet off that right side setback. So that the house that is proposed is moving more onto the lot. the one area where there is a big change, and I wonder, Meredith, why it had to come so far forward, is the prior house had a 20-foot setback in the front yard. And this house has a 13-foot set. So it is 7 feet closer to the street. And as we know, that street is it's quite congested and quite narrow. So I don't know if they could, why they came forward. Oh, that was no, but no. Yeah, but the building, well, I'm just looking at the prior decision and it just said the front yard setback proposed was 20 feet. And this front yard setback is 13 feet. So that's my only question. I understand. I mean, I think all in all, it's a 12,000 square foot lot. It's a 1,800 square foot footprint on the lot. I think all in all, it's not an unreasonable proposal. And in some ways it's better than the other in terms of like not encroaching left or right on the neighbors. You're within your setbacks. It's just different. I just don't know if they could push it a little closer to the ocean, or if there are FEMA floods. That's not, we don't have the FEMA flood. Well, yeah, so the FEMA flood elevation is back a little bit farther. So that's my only question is, can they get a little bit further off the street?
I believe the architect, Allison, if Kate Martin is there, could you let her in?
Here, I was looking, this one was 13.
I'm not sure if Allison heard me. Ah, there we go. Thank you, Allison.
Allison's not here.
Hi,
Change that box on you.
can you all hear us?
Yes, we can.
Hi, I'm Kate Martin, Treehouse Design. Tim, you wanna?
Tim Thurman, Treehouse Design.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of reasons for the siting with regards to the property line. One is that the site slopes down to the river. So, you know, the further back you go, the steeper that driveway gets to the garage, and also the more difficult to connect to the front door of the house. The closer it is to the street, the closer it is to street level, if that makes sense. Second reason is that there is some ledge on the site. So I think we wanted to balance the amount of, ledge removal we would have to do with the elevation of the house.
Yeah.
And, lastly, it's as close to the street as the neighboring house number 8. So I think it's also sort of in keeping with the neighborhood in terms of how close other properties have gotten to the street.
Thanks, Kate.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So
Pretty
we
fine.
keep,
Could you
uh,
put
we
up
keep
the,
with the neighborhood on terms of how close it is
Sure.
to the street, but not in terms of
not-
how it sits on the property?
There's no opportunity. You had your chance to talk. Now we're dealing with analyzing what's going on. Attorney Fine, can you put up the one that showed, so the old house, you can see it on here, but I remember that we approved a garage way closer to the street because of that ledge. Was that, do we have anything that's still, yeah, see, so we were approving previously that garage that was only going to be 5 feet off the road, off the front yard. And now by bringing it all together, we're actually pulling it back from the road, which I would think would be an improved situation. I just wanted to see that again. I remembered it as that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Gonna be.
much small
garage
house.
was
though.
only,
It
what,
is.
16 feet? So they're still-
They are on the right.
on both sides, because the garage is 16. But now it's
Yeah, up front. Any other discussion by the board?
Yes, this is Len Gyllenhaal.
Hi, Len.
Mike listed a lot of things that are not before us. He was correct. But one thing that is before us, and it's this arbitrary, is it more detrimental to the neighborhood? And I'm not sure the answer to that. I think the neighbors have made kind of a compelling argument that it is more detrimental. But I'm mulling that over.
Len, can I respond to that?
Sure.
I'd rather have my turn first, Meredith.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Hang on.
So Len, I think the compelling argument, at least for me, it's all about the things that are not before us. So I think just need to make sure and dismiss all of those things that matter to them and should matter to them as neighbors, but don't matter to us as a voting zoning board. That's all. So I
Well,
think.
Michael, how do you find detrimental?
The other boards will go.
I define it within our authority. So if it's view, it's not within our authority. So that shouldn't be.
Sure.
You need to be quiet, please. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I think you're being rude. Stop, please. Yeah, so Len, I would say you just need to make sure, not just you, but us, that however you act, it's within our authority. So if you're looking at views, you shouldn't look at views. That's not within our authority.
I wanted to add, there's other committees too, Len, that, we deal with what's before us, and I understand sometimes that can get mixed around. So those other matters will go before those committees, and they'll vote on those matters, like conservation and whatnot. So like Michael said, I think we try to keep what's within our purview. Otherwise, we're just opening a big can of worms with all these other issues that don't come before us, trying to keep it clean and tight with the setbacks and, what's within our jurisdiction.
Right, I totally agree with that. Meredith, could you put up the prior proposal again that was approved? I'm sorry.
No.
Is that part of this package? Because I kept going, but I should have gone and pulled it, but what
I'm
is,
sorry, what are you looking for?
yeah,
You're looking for this?
yeah. So I think it's way improved by being off that right side line setback. I do think it's improved by not having that garage so close to the street, but it is a much bigger building that's closer to the front of the street. So I guess that's the question. Is having that like whole quarter front of the building 11 feet or 13 feet off the roadway? Should that be maybe more? I understand what the architects are saying, that the farther back you go, the more slope you have to deal with. And I guess the question is, if the trade-off is more blasting, more fill versus closer to the front of the street, well, that's debatable, which one's better. Woodward is that is a crazy little street. It's pretty tight. There's a lot of those houses are right on the street, and I don't think that's good. I don't think that we should necessarily exacerbate that. I understand that number 8 is that close to the street and close to the lot line, but that's not before us. That house exists. It is what it is. Do we want to continue a line that close on the frontage? So that to me is is that more harmful than the prior one? And that's kind of what I'm weighing myself.
I was.
May
The
I
other
respond?
thing,
Oh, sorry.
no, I just wanted to add real quick. I had some concerns about that corner being only 11.9, and if these plans line up correctly, it's still sitting behind than the abutter. So, the abutter's property or his home sticks out a little bit closer to the street where, that corner where it's 9/11 is going a little bit further back. So, if that was sitting in front of his property, then I would say, hey, at the very least, meet the front of his property line, but it doesn't doesn't seem that way.
What I'm seeing is, so we had a home that could be built, we approved with a variance that took it out of the property on the right. I think that was O'Connell or whatever.
And they were.
It was
concerned
over the
about-
boundary. It pulled it in just inside the boundary. Probably should have been more, but obviously they were concerned with the ledge. And then we approved a garage out by the street, and that was fine. What I see come back before us is what I consider much improved. You've taken the house, you've combined the two and centered it on the property. It's dead center to the point where it's equally inside those dotted lines, which are the side yard setbacks. With regard to the front, there was a front yard variance in place. And what's before us is just a request to modify that variance. And what the architects have come up with is we'll combine all that, we'll get that garage away from the edge of the street, and we'll pull it ahead again so that you could actually walk into the house without being flooded like I know the house on the right goes down a steep driveway. You must get all kinds of runoff, and that's just what it is. This is going to be an improved situation. Also, the paving is out further than that property line. So there is more space on the front, and I would think it certainly meets the criteria for altering or amending a variance, which is still in place today.
9 feet feels like a big modification to me on the frontage. It does.
But we were 5 feet. on the
No,
Garage.
the frontage variance, where the frontage was 20 feet, it's going
The
to.
garage
The
was only
garage
5 feet
was 5 feet.
from the front.
Right, but
I'm not
now
sure
you
what
have,
the-
you had a little
We're actually
garage
going
here,
back.
and now you have a whole building. I mean, I know Meredith I mean, for me, it sounds like you have a mixed board at the moment.
Yeah,
I would like to go out to this property again and, I mean, it feels like it feels like a lot of building in that frontage to me. I think the plan is actually fine. I'm just concerned about it being so close to the street and because it's
may I ask
Woodward.
may I ask to continue it?
Yeah, we'll certainly entertain that with regards to, is there a way it could get staked for the front
Yeah,
line, or which
Uh,
would make looking at it easier and clearer for everybody, including the neighbors? If everybody could see a point where this is going to sit, that would be helpful.
yeah, I think it would be helpful
Yeah,
for
it would
me.
actually be, I mean, if we're gonna have you do that, it would be nice if you could get us at least 2 stakes, showing us the 2 front corners, and
Right, yeah.
4 stakes would even be better to show sort of how it pitches to the middle, you know what I mean? So it's sort of proud on the 2 corners, and then it steps back, what, 2 or 3 feet, maybe? I can't quite tell from this site map, but anyway, if you could get those 4 points, that would give us a real good visual on where it is in relationship to the street.
Sure, I'm assuming Treehouse is fine with that.
We'd be fine to stake those 4 corners that Mr. Nyman is talking about. I think you're going to find that it is quite a ways off the traveled way. And it's going to feel like it's off the property quite a bit more than it does when you look at the site plan and the boundary lines. We also feel for the neighbors and the abutters, going through construction in a neighborhood is very difficult. I can speak from personal experience. We've had construction projects on our road, which is also a private road, going on now for 4 years, and it's been very difficult. I feel everybody's pain around that, and our job is to make it as painless as possible, and that's our intention. Thank you.
Particularly on that street. I mean, it's a very narrow road, so. Well,
Okay,
thank you. I
so
appreciate your.
sounds like the board wants a continuance so that we can all go out and take another look
Yeah.
and hopefully get some stakes. My issue is going to be, we have 6 hearings already on November 9th.
So do we have to have any more public hearing on this one or not, Joe?
I haven't closed it yet.
Probably think we should allow some more.
Um, it's- No, well, we did
think we
end the
need to
we did
rehear
end
it,
the
you know what I
public
mean?
testimony. So I'm going to close the public
Yeah, I
testimony
like that.
portion.
Yeah.
We're going to go out and we're going to take a look. That's next year.
Oh,
And
thank
then
you.
we're
I was
going to
like,
go, and then we'll come back and we'll discuss. The board will have a longer discussion and at that point, entertain a motion on the
want to move it to the
application.
one
Mr.
after the night?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
are you going to do a formal site visit or is everybody
No.
just going to go as they can?
Now, once the stakes are up, if we could be notified,
Okay,
and then through the secretary of the board, and she can get it out to the members to let them know, hey, you can go by next coming weekend. But we're gonna have to continue to, my phone just died. Anybody have a date?
After
December,
after the,
we only meet once in November and December, so it's gonna get
Oh.
tight here.
oh, so we have,
Well,
23rd?
so we have the 9th is the next one. And
November.
then,
And we
about
don't have
December?
one on this one.
oh, we don't have the 23rd. We're not meeting because that's Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
So it would be the 7th?
December 14th.
14th.
Yeah.
December 14th.
Oh, I'm sorry, the 14th, right?
So I'll entertain a motion to continue to December 14th. So there's plenty of time to stake. But if you did let us know, it would be good because we could
Yeah.
come out right away rather than let weeks go by and who knows what happens, you know?
So I make a
Yeah.
motion for the petition of Ina Radzikovsky, I believe, seeking to modify the existing special permit at 12 Woodward Ave. I would make a motion that we continue this to December 14th.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, roll call vote to continue.
Mr. Nyman,
Yes.
Ms. Schlichty,
Yes.
Mr. Gyllenhaal,
Yes, and I would like to thank the board for a healthy debate. I think that's good for everybody. Thank you, Michael.
Welcome.
Mr. Canavo,
Yes.
and Mr. Parisi.
Yes, we've heard it. We've continued this till December 14th. And we'll take it up more than.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Thank you.
Okay, as I had announced, the Madison Avenue's been continued. So our next order on the agenda is the petition of T&J Real Estate Investment LLC and Jerry Scapatulio seeking a special permit under 2.3.1 subsection 3 and 2.4.3 subsection B for change of use from a single family to a two-family dwelling and to alter and expand an existing non-conforming structure at 6 Parker Court. I believe it's Attorney Frontiero representing. Is Sal Frontiero on as a?
I don't know if Sal is, he's not on this application. I thought the applicant was just Sal
homeowner?
represented him the first time, but Sal's not on this.
Narrative was on. No, I noticed that. And I noticed there's two different applicants in our packet. There were two different applications in our packet,
I think the other one was the prior application
and I thought,
because it's dated 3/10/21.
okay, well, are these people, if anyone representing this 6 Parker Court is on, please raise your hand so we can bring you into the meeting. I see the gentleman's name that was on the original
Oh, he's
application. Let's see if he raises his hand. He's not,
Jerry.
might be sleeping. Anyone involved in 6 Parker Court, please raise your hand so we can
Jerry Scopa.
take the hearing.
Can you bring him in if you have to raise his hand?
You can? Other one.
So this is the very same application, it just didn't expire.
It's getting so old. I thought, we've been there.
Yeah, I
drove
know.
down
I
there
drove
and
down,
said,
I'm
"Yeah,
like,
this is
wait,
the
Third one.
is this a third extension?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
All right, I'm on, okay, let me try, oh, there you go.
We can see you.
All right, perfect. Let me get this out of here.
Oh, wow. Huh.
It's an R5.
Even if there's exterior changes?
Yeah. But the application is for us to alter and expand.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, I have to do it on my iPhone for some reason. But, yeah, I'm just reinstating the permit. You guys already issued it, back in, I think, 2 years ago.
Name
And
and
it
address.
expired. Wife and I bought the property to do a two-family, live on one side and rent the other side, but, when I went to get a permit to do all the work, the owner that sold me the property, expired 2 months prior. Are you there?
Yeah, we're here. We're
Okay, yeah.
listening to you.
Yeah, so they said they'll go in front of the board again you guys already approved it. But again, it's just, the owner that sold me the property as a two-family didn't realize that she had to renew it. So when I went to go pull the permit, the building inspector and everybody there said, just, you have to go in front of the board again and get approved, and he was thinking that it shouldn't be a problem because I already got approved once.
Well, so your other permit expired. So this T&J Real, is that you?
Yes, it wasn't mine, it was the owner.
Pardon me?
Yes, I did it under my kids' names, because I'm gonna give one to one
was just
side when
trying to
we're
get-
not here anymore.
Was just trying to get clarity because we had two
Yeah.
applications in our packet with different names on them. There's no changes to the plans. You're putting stairs on the right side. I think that was the issue that kicked in the variance the last time. You're altering and expanding a non-conforming structure. There is no special permit needed for 1 to 2 family because 2 family is allowed as a matter of right in the R5 zone, which I was able to figure out that you're in the R5 because the application didn't have a zone in it. So I was first attacking it as an R10 and then I realized it wasn't.
Okay. So it's really a special permit to alter or expand.
Is it, and I know and if you read,
Is it
what's
not
interesting
gonna-
is Sal's narrative is in there.
Yeah,
So that's what I was going by. I was thinking he was presenting to us.
yeah.
And his narrative spoke about, he admitted it's an increase in nonconformity, so he didn't expect the two-part test. And I remember that's how we dealt with it the last time. So,
Oh, right side yard setback is the nonconformity.
right, so putting the stairs is not changing the nonconformity, I would say, because the stairs are on the right.
Yeah.
On the plan. Okay, I think we understand what you're asking us for. We just want to make sure we give you the proper relief.
Great.
I'm going to ask if there's anyone in the audience or anyone online that wishes to speak in favor of the application. Anyone in favor, please raise your hand. Being none, is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Any opposition on 6 Parker Court?
What's on this?
Seeing none, no need for rebuttal. Discussion by the board?
No, he has the parking, which is always a consideration. The parking is tough on that street, so you need off-street parking, which you have 5 spaces there. When you put those stairs down the front, you'll still have 5 spaces there.
Yes.
I agree. So it's a little bit of an intensification of the nonconformity, not because mainly because you're adding those, making it more right side stair. Maybe that's
Well,
what
there was
you-
the bulk of the improvement.
The dormers are actually
Stated.
increasing square footage.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So there
So I
is an
guess you're adding
increase.
more bulk to an
Yes.
undersized lot, but I don't think that's substantially more detrimental than what's existing. I have no problem.
That's all he
with it.
needs, right? Special
Yeah.
permit. alter and expand.
Yeah.
Well, let's have a motion.
I
I'll
don't
make
have-
a motion to the petition of T&J Real Estate Investment LLC at Jerry Scopatulo seeking special permit to alter and expand at 6 Parker Court, correct?
Yeah.
We approved this before, so, and there's no real actual change in this design, just the stairs, parking still adequate. All in all, I think it's a straightforward project, so I move an approval
Have a motion made.
or permit.
And I would second that because I think there is an increase in the nonconformity. But it's not substantially more
Yeah.
detrimental. Yeah,
Correct.
so I would
Thank you.
second that.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded. Roll call vote.
Mr. Gyllenhaal,
Yes.
Mr. Canavo,
Yes.
Mr. Nyman,
Yes.
Ms. Schlichty,
Yes.
Mr. Parisi.
Yes. So you've heard our decisions favorable. We'll have to draft a decision that can be signed and filed. You'll receive notification when that's done. And there's an appeal period of 20 days from then before you can get your building permit.
Great. Appreciate it, everyone. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Okay. I'll do it.
Okay, Catherine will write that decision for the board.
Thank you.
Okay, our last hearing of the night is the petition of Scout Atlantic LLC seeking a special permit under 3.1.6A for building height up to 35 feet at 228 Atlantic Street.
I get two, but
We have Greg, oh, okay, it is Greg Haley. Can we bring Greg in as the applicant? Bless you.
thank you.
Hi, good evening, board members. Thank you for your time this evening and the consideration for our special permit. Once again, we're down here right next to Winger Chic. This is our third request for height relief. And for this property, we are in a butter, and we also have with our application letters of in favor from our other direct abutters. And I just want it to be known that there was a clerical error on the address for one of our butters. It's stated as 230 Atlantic as one of our butters in favor for us, but actually that address is 22R Atlantic, 222R Atlantic. But we are simply requesting 3 additional feet beyond the 30-foot limitation for preserving our elevation to gravity feed our septic system, which is located in the rear of the building, as well as preserving 9-foot ceiling heights, which is very characteristic for homes in this area and of this size, similar to the other 2 applications we've been here before. So I'm trying to do a screen share right now. I don't have all as much confidence with the Zoom, but I'm going to give it a shot here.
There you go. It's working.
Okay, great. So as you can see, we're direct butter, which, and this is the lowest elevation of the 3 homes that we're constructing. And there is no impact to views to the north of us, as well as there's no impact to views on any sides, because it's abutted by parking lots and wetlands.
Okay, so strictly a height exception You had the other two lots, the city of Gloucester's the other. But we'll see what the audience feels. Is there anyone in the audience? Can you take your screen down for me, please?
Oh, sure.
I can see.
I know, right?
Your screen's still up. Are you trying to take it down?
Yeah, sorry, give me 1 second.
Where's? Great, thank you. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of the application, either in the audience or online? Seeing none, is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Come forward, please. I remind you, if you could just give us your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Luke Fabry.
Right in that mic. too,
A little
sir.
closer to the.
Right in the mic, yep.
Yeah, sorry.
Is that better? Hi.
Yes.
Luke Fabry, 20 Waterman Road. I'm a neighbor to this project. I'm not a direct abutter. And I'm a little late to this whole set of 3 lots because there's a paper road that separates us from these lots, and the 300-foot setback abutter to abutter did not apply. However, we are directly behind these properties, all 3 of them, and we look out to the Annisquam River. And on all 3 applications, this one is not going up 3 feet, it's going up 5 feet according to their application. They've said that it's consistent with the neighborhood and that there are no views that are impaired. I've lived there for my entire life. There are no houses that are above 30 feet surrounding this. And because they're not direct abutters, people have not been notified of what's going on down here. And I know, finding out about this yesterday, there's several people that are upset that they've not been included in the process. And I went online to look at what was going on. And their statement says that the proposed work requires only special improvement and it's consistent with the neighborhood characteristics, will not overshadow any neighboring properties, nor will it obstruct any neighbor's views of the Annisquam or the Ipswich River. There's no adverse impacts to the neighborhood granting this special permit could have. So neighbor's not a abutter. And immediately behind his abutter's property, which is separated by a paper road, there are a number of houses that are affected by the views of these 3 properties, not just this one. For instance, 1 Dune Circle and 2 Dune Circle, their elevation's 52 feet. This house is going to be 69 feet, which puts it 17 feet above both of these houses. These houses look out at the Annisquam. The one next to it is going to be at 75 feet. And these are not little houses. We're talking 6,500 to 9,000 square foot homes. The other 2 have been given relief. Need of relief to have a gravity feed septic system is really not an issue. That should not be a reason to give relief. There's plenty of systems that have ejection pumps. And we're talking a few feet, but these are huge houses and they impede the view of a number of houses. So 1 and 2 Dune Circle, 18 Waterman Road, 19 Waterman Road, 20 Waterman Road, 22 Waterman Road is a vacant lot, but at some point in time, it's probably going to get constructed. 24 Waterman Road, 25, 26, 27, 27, 28 are getting down to the bottom of the hill, and their views may not be directly affected. I've never sat in their house and looked out. But like 24 Waterman Road, that's at 66 feet. These 3 houses are going to obliterate their view. And I think it's very disingenuous for these people to have come before the board and say that there's no, and it's the same on all 3, that they will not block or obstruct any views of the Annisquam or the Ipswich Bay. The only people that spoke in favor of this project are people who are in front of them. So they're not looking back at them, they're looking out at the ocean. And one other person that's down so low they can't see anything. But the other people that are all in this area above them, their views are going to be obstructed by this. This one doesn't affect me because the one next to it completely obliterates this. It's a close to 9,000 square foot house at 75 feet. 75 feet is the,
Can you clarify, are you referring to above sea level? The home's 35 feet tall, this one.
this home's 35 feet tall. It's on their plan. The roof is at 69 feet point something.
No, the way height is measured is it's an average of all the points of the building.
Correct. Plus 35 feet. So the top of this house on their plans is 69 feet. It's 17 feet above Dune Circle already. The one next to it is 75 feet on their plans, their elevations. And when I go on and I measure these elevations, they're pretty freaking accurate to what I see. But there's no need. I mean, if you go up in Waterman Road, for instance, and you look at the houses, most of the houses that went for 2 full stories have either flat roofs or low angle roofs, including the new ones that were built at the lower part of the road. These all have steep pitched roofs so that they can accommodate a 9-foot ceiling on a 6,500 square foot house. And there's been no consideration given to the neighbors, and we are neighbors, of these views. So now on this lot, these 3 lots, and I know the other decisions have been made, but here's another one where the adjacent property is blocking the Dune Circle lots, and they don't know about it because they're seasonal residents. They're not around reading the Gloucester newspaper. They don't see this. It's not like somebody's expecting them to go up 35 feet, but here we have it. They're up 35 feet, and this is a blatant misrepresentation saying that there's no neighbors' views that are blocked by this. And I'm finding out way after the fact. And, my family's been there for 60, 70 years. Everybody that knows about it is peeved, and the people that are really impacted about it don't even know about it yet because they've not been contacted. And if you're on Wingasheek Road, the auxiliary parking lot, the elevation's 14 feet. These 2 houses are 75 feet and 69 feet. They're going to be just like looming over the access to the beach.
Are you talking about above sea level?
I think he's talking about the top of the roof.
I'm talking about the roof line. You gave them a 5-foot addition.
I'm just looking at base, I'm looking at, I'm assuming FF is finished floor elevation is
Elevation, that's
32.
not-
And it is above sea level. The spot
You're
elevation.
talking above sea level. I'm trying to be able to understand you and compare what you're comparing.
So the land around them, they've measured.
What's the elevation at his foundation?
32.
And he's going up 35 from there to 67. The elevation above sea
says
level is
here that-
irrelevant to our discussion of height.
The elevation is 26 feet, 0.27. Then they're going to go up 35
See,
feet on top of that. No, your issue is you're giving them a 5-foot
Height exception.
relief to go up 5 more feet.
Right.
And what I'm telling you is that they are blocking views of people who are not
Have you
represented.
brought us- Did you take any pictures from your home? And that we could see what you're referring to, that your view would be blocked?
I can, yes.
You didn't though. I mean,
I have a picture on my phone now of the excavator, but it's not this lot, it's the lot that's already been approved. And I mean, if you want, I can bring them to another meeting. We just found out about this. And like I said, there's a bunch of people that don't even know because they're summer residents. This was put on in September and October. These guys aren't around. They're not reading this. And this is a blatant misrepresentation. And they're going on to say neighbors and no blockage of views for the Annisquam River or Ipswich Bay. And that's not true. You've been out to the site. I assume you've done a site visit. So when you're standing just for instance, when you're standing on the access road right in front of the auxiliary parking, you're at 14 feet. The top of the hill behind you is at 75 feet. Up at the top of that hill, that's 75 feet. The top of this house, the one in between that's already been approved, that's going to be at 75 feet. It's the same height as the hill behind it. And the one next to it's going to be at 69 feet. And I don't think that you should give them 5 foot more to add on to it. Let them stop at 64 feet. Now, you can't deny them the right to build, but they don't have to go up. And it's not characteristic of the neighborhood. There are no 6,500 square foot homes.
Oh, sure.
I mean,
We've approved dozens and dozens
not there.
on that area.
There are no 6,500 square foot homes.
Okay.
The
well,
one next to it's 9,000 square feet. And they got to go up 5 more feet. And I just think that the people who are affected of this, just because they were blocked from being noticed by a paper road, and it is a paper road, it doesn't exist. And there's the owner property behind it. These guys are all within 300 feet. There's a couple that are not, but they're within 300 feet of this. They should have been noticed that this was happening. And here I am.
Gets noticed by the law,
I understand that.
and we also publish it in the newspaper.
And these people are summer residents.
Don't read it.
And they are providing you an application that is telling you that there's no
They
obstruction.
tell us on the application, we make our own judgment. We go out there.
Yep.
We don't take what they say is, we decide based on our own
Well, I'm
experience.
providing you with some additional information that they didn't provide you with.
Well,
And I'm a geologist. I'm a licensed site professional, and I'm knowledgeable in these areas. And I know the elevations of these properties. I've taken them off Google Earth. And there's no mistaking a 52-foot property with a 75-foot property. And they don't need to have relief to go up 5 more feet because they can still build their 65,000 square foot home, but have a shorter roof. You don't have to have a big pitched roof. All I'm asking for is what this board does is, are you going to let them obstruct the views with another 5 feet? Or just give them what they're entitled to by zoning, which is 30 feet? And that's my issue.
all righty, thank you.
Can I just get some clarification? So you say they're at an elevation of 52 feet and the people behind are at an elevation of 75 feet?
No, I'm saying the house that's being proposed has a roof line of 69 feet
I'll see.
That elevation.
above sea level.
Yeah.
What if he built?
The
it-
house, excuse me?
I mean, if he builds it up on a higher land, it'd be 200. It's irrelevant. Our only issue is to the
But
land.
blocking views is not.
That's correct. It's not.
Blocking views is not. And the person behind him, the 2 people that are behind this lot looking out at the Annisquam are at 52 and 53 feet. So they're 17
See
feet
it.
below this. So when this house is built, it's going to be above their second floor windows. They're not going to see over it. And now there's 2 of them side by side. And the trees block out part of their view. So now their entire view of the Annisquam River is compromised.
Have you talked to these people?
They're not here right now. One guy lives up in May.
Do you have an effect? Is this
I
affect?
do too.
Of
yeah.
you?
I'm on 20 Waterman Road, and this is, I look down at this house.
Look
this-
down at it.
I'm above it and I look down at it, but it's going to come up and it's going to block my view.
It is.
It obstructs my view. It's in my sight line. And there,
Sight line and blocking your view is 2 different things in zoning.
well, yes. Okay. So if it interrupts my view, my long distance view, I can say yes. Of course, the house that they're building in front of this one obliterates that view.
Well, that's gone by.
That can be appealed, right?
I don't know if it's time's expired.
It was time stamped yesterday.
Time stamped it yesterday.
You're within the appeal period if that's what you chose to do, sure.
Yes. And, like I just read you off 9 houses. Of them, I only know one that actually knows of this issue. And we're contacting the other ones. And it's going to come up because, 66 Waterman Road, 24 Waterman Road is at 66 feet. The house that was just approved in front of them is at 73 feet. It's going to just wipe out their view heading out to Ipswich Bay. And the other house at 27 Waterman Road, it looks between 2 houses right now. The house that's proposed is right in front of it. So now their view is blocked off. And my issue is this application misrepresents the facts. And I think it's unfortunate that the other 2 have slipped by. And the fact that we're summer residents, leaves us as a little bit of a disadvantage. But these guys could have come up and talked to us. It's not like there's nobody ever there. There's a neighborhood up there. And these houses are huge. And now they'll be given relief to go up, 5 more feet. For what purpose? Everybody else put flat roofs on to respect their neighbors. Now, I have pictures of the houses on Waterman Road with flat roofs because there are people behind them.
Thank you for your testimony.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Sir, offer you an opportunity for rebuttal. Oh, wait, I have one more here. I'm sorry. One more. Daniel Murphy. Are you wishing to speak in opposition? Let's pull you in. Note about a participant has enabled closed captioning. Who can see this transcript? I don't know what that means.
Hello?
There you go. Yes.
Okay, sorry. So I'm 19 Waterman Road, and I found out yesterday about this. I did send a letter to the board yesterday, and I believe you have it. And in there is a photograph of the view from my living room.
We don't get that. We have a 72-hour
Oh, yeah.
window
unfortunately, I
to
haven't seen
receive
it.
information.
What
I
is
have
your
not
name, by the
seen
way,
it.
sir?
Yeah,
Daniel Murphy.
Daniel Murphy,
Thank you.
19 Waterman Road.
I looked today
so
on our
the-
site and there was no letters.
I sent it and I got a reply from the secretary.
But we have a 72-hour. You can tell us whatever you had.
Yeah, tell us the
now.
salient points of your letter, sir.
Tell us now what you
So,
said.
so basically, the developers were treating us as abutters right up until they required a variance. So I have got lots of information from them about the septic system and the whole way through since this project started. But once it came to looking for a height variance, we suddenly were not contacted. Then yesterday I read the minutes for the September meeting where these variance was approved, and it says we've contacted all the neighbors. The neighbors don't object. We're not blocking any views. And I've provided a photograph that clearly shows that 226 will block a view. Now, I don't object to the houses being put in. I'm objecting to a 5-foot variance that takes away mine and my neighbor's view.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we'll offer Mr. Halley a rebuttal opportunity to testimony given.
Yes, hi, can I screen share?
Yes, please.
One second here. So in relation to this property, what we're meeting for today is our request is for 3 feet. As you can see, the maximum building height on the zoning dimensional table here is listed as 33 feet. I'd also like to point out that the building footprint is 3,447 square feet, not anywhere near some of the square footage that have been thrown out there from the neighbors. We're just meeting here today about this 3 feet for this home, which meets the criteria because it does not block or impede any views to any of the abutters or any of the neighbors. This average grade calculation was taken within less than a centimeter of accuracy, where we've taken all the existing and average grades, and that average grade is what matters here with the zoning board. So our average grade is at 26-foot elevation, and the structure is by right at 30 feet. So 66 would be by right. We're asking for 3 additional feet for ceiling heights, and so we can gravity feed the septic system. That is the only factual things that are relevant in this meeting today.
Is that plan you have, we get to see a bigger area of that? Because I noticed the butters report was kind of took a picture of everything. It wasn't like drawn in as much. I mean, I'm familiar with all these streets.
So this is the paper road in which he's referring to, and that's at 4. You can see this elevation mark. This is at 40 feet. So this is existing topography. So we're still in a paper road here in undeveloped vacant land. And this is a driveway up here of one of our abutters, which is, well, as you can see, the steep grade is already at 40 here and climbs up to 50. And so those are their foundational starting points. And there's not even a foundation within this boundary of this particular site plan. And we have submitted full site plans, and we have done all the proper notice and all the proper, accessibilities for our, per requirement. So we're in no way, shape, form, or fashion trying to pull a fast one or to be deceitful or misrepresent anything. We have been completely and utterly obtuse. Prior to any meetings whatsoever, we put mailbox stuffers into all the neighbors and tried to get out and meet the neighborhood and introduce ourselves, because we are also from the community. We're North Shore people. We've worked in the community of Gloucester for a dozen years. We've built in this town. We live in Beverly. This is, a very, very meaningful project for us, and having support of the neighborhood and communication with the neighborhood is also important to us. And we're available every day. We've been in possession of this property for conversations, for emails, for phone calls. And so it is a bit of a surprise to see the resistance, but again, it is hard to meet people that don't live in these homes. So it can't really fault us for that. But for the purposes of this meeting here tonight, we're here to ask for 3 feet of relief. That is all.
Thank you. So what we're looking at is the photo that was sent from Mr. Murphy with regards. Now, I'm curious about the black line rectangle in the photo. Are you indicating that's the house?
He didn't send the picture. The other man did, but
Oh, who sent the picture?
Mr. Murphy.
Oh, okay. He has a picture looking down at the equipment. And he's got a rectangle. Oh, it's a pretty big box compared to the equipment. We don't need to be sarcastic, sir. We're volunteers here. We can be respectful. Hasn't sounded. Just now you did.
Yeah, we have no prohibitions against, you know, in a. Right. Right. Mr. Murphy.
I think I want that as much because of the approval that we gave for the two others. I think I just need to, I need to have a better understanding here on what's going on. Because from this gentleman, there's potential they're going to appeal the others anyway. I mean, maybe not.
Well-
Nothing we can do about that, but may come back to us. That's all.
It would help with the issue. I mean, the issue isn't one person losing their view. It's a neighbor, is a neighborhood losing their view.
Obstruction.
But it doesn't just mean one house. I mean, just because, you know, if you.
No, of
if you-
course, of course. I'm
Right.
sorry,
It doesn't
yeah.
mean one person, you know.
And I think what we need
And
to
it
be,
is 3 feet. You know, the application says they're seeking 3 feet of relief and the plans say 3 feet of relief. So I don't know what plans you're looking at, but they're different than what we have. So, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to, sorry, can we continue another? I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to taking a look at if you could float a balloon that says this is where it would be at
Or
30
drone.
at 33 feet. Yeah, I didn't go down, I mean, I didn't go down Waterman Road. I just went down Sherilyn or whatever this road is, Georgine Circle, and looked at the lots. And I looked at the neighborhood. There wasn't, you know, a lot around them. There are houses on the left side of Georgine that are going to be impacted if they have views. And they all did submit letters of support on the other houses. Yeah, well, right. Now, as far as notice, he met the statutory requirements about it. I mean, that's always obligated to do. And, but now that you have, I mean, now that he's brought it to attention, I wouldn't mind going to take
I think we should take a look.
a look.
Are we requiring any balloons or we?
I don't know how we
Want
don't know
another
if the,
look.
Yeah,
they have to
I feel
have
like we
the
need
s-
some
you have to have
marker.
the height
We
at
need some
something.
marker. I mean, how do I know
Do a
where
site
31
visit.
feet is or 32 feet is or 33 feet is?
Right. Right. I mean, we've
Mr.
done it.
We can require that.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
there's been a lot of talk about blocking views, which we've often talked about out of our purview. But nobody said anything. Is there any overshadowing? Because that does come under what we look at.
Well, for a height, especially when you're looking for a special permit for height, obstruction of views is one of the standards that you look
Oh,
at.
it is, but so
Yeah.
is obstruction too, if it blocks the sun at any time during the day.
Well, shadowing is an issue, but these are so far apart. There's no I can't imagine this. The house isn't tall enough to cast a shadow to reach the other houses.
Okay, I just thought I'd ask. Keep you guys on your toes.
All right, so if you want, Michael, we could continue and require that.
Should we do a
Yeah.
site
It would
visit?
have to
so
be a
we're
formal
all-
site visit. if we're
Yeah,
doing
I
the
think we should
balloon.
do it. I just think we should do it.
So what we've done in the past is we've had a planned site visit where we ask you to provide. Obviously, the easiest way is buy a heavy duty balloon can be raised to the elevation by the dimensions from your average grade, long enough rope that gets it to the peak or where the highest point would be. And then we would all be out there at that one time to see it and then be able to make our judgments about if there is any definitive obstruction of views that would weigh in our decision. Doesn't mean it voids the decision, but it would weigh in our decision. And so we need to do that. And I'd entertain a motion to that. What about a date? This would have to go to December, the same December 14th meeting. So somewhere before that, we need to coordinate a time, typically Saturday, where all the members could attend.
I couldn't do, as long as the date's not between the 16th and the 23rd, I can,
Of what?
November, I can make a meeting.
I can't do anything around 9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
On a Saturday.
on a
That's fine.
Saturday
I mean,
after,
I can do
but I
anytime.
can't do anything between 2 and 4.
Bloody
So it's like-
children,
them
they're just
late.
tying up your schedule.
I got like a midday crisis with sports, so
Yeah, you could do an 11 or 12.
yeah, noontime would work perfect.
Okay, so what, you're away the 16th through of November?
Yeah, but we could do it maybe before then.
How about December 2?
I could do that.
Let's put that in a motion. It's going to be,
I just want to be certain with the board that this is pertaining to 228 Atlantic Street,
Yeah,
correct?
just,
Correct,
just
that's what's before
228,
us.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
And would it?
can always build it 3 feet shorter and wouldn't even have to be here, but
And would December 2nd work for a site visit?
Is that a question for me?
Yes.
Hang on one second. Yes, yep. I won't be coaching kindergarten soccer then, so,
Oh, so noon would work?
yeah.
Okay.
let's make it part of the motion to December 2, noon.
Okay, I move we continue the application of Scout Atlantic LLC for the property at 228 Atlantic Street to December 2nd, 12 noon, for a site visit to gauge the height of the building.
No, we're scheduling the site visit for 12/2. And we're continuing the hearing to 12/14. That's what I was saying.
And to continue the hearing itself until December 14th.
We have a motion on the site visit and the continuation of the hearing. It will be a public site visit. Need a second.
Second.
Made and seconded, roll call vote.
Ms. Schlichty,
Yes for the site visit, yes for the continuance of the hearing.
Mr. Nyman,
Yes.
Mr. Canavo,
Yes, for both.
Mr. Gyllenhaal,
Yes, for both.
Mr. Parisi.
All right, we're all putting this in our calendar.
I'm sorry. Yes, I vote in favor. So we're continued to we're having a site visit on December 2nd at noon, and we're going to continue the hearing to the 14th of December. Right here. Thank you. One other issue before us, we need to adopt no problem. No, that's okay. Not a problem.
Yep.
We don't hold grudges. We need to approve our schedule
Just
for
one second. I have a question for you,
2024.
sir. No, just one second.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna want to come up to your yard at least.
yeah, we'd
Yeah.
like to go up at least this year.
We need to approve our schedule for 2024, which everybody was in your packet. It's the same as every year. There's no changes this year. There's no oddball holidays, falling on our meeting night. So it's just the second and last Thursday of every month, except November and December, there's only one meeting. I'll need a motion to set that.
I move to approve our meeting schedule for 2024.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve. Roll call vote.
Mr. Canavo,
Yes.
Ms. Schlichty,
Yes.
Mr. Nyman,
Yes.
Mr. Gyllenhaal,
Yes.
Mr. Parisi.
Yes. Next up will be a motion to adjourn unless anyone has any questions or things they want to discuss. I will announce that we don't, Allison was on vacation, so we don't have the packets to hand you tonight. So one more time, you're either going to have to get them off the drive or stop by the office. There are no decisions that any of you, oh, there is one in the
There is
packet.
one,
There's
yeah.
one decision in the packet that you folks need to sign, but other than that, there's nothing right now at the office going forward. So there will be soon, but we've got time for that. So we'll have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Made and seconded, roll call vote to adjourn.
Mr. Canavo,
Yes.
Mr. Gyllenhaal,
Yes.
Ms. Schlichty,
Yes.
Mr. Nyman,
Yes.
Mr. Parisi.
I also vote yes, we are adjourned. I need to stamp, what plans did we do tonight?
James needs to sign all this. That's what I'm like, did we make it?